Deep breath, people. Deep breath, because we're going to talk about something else now. And what we are going to talk about is McLaren. We're going to talk about McLaren throwing away the chance to win the Constructors' Championship in Azerbaijan. Both drivers doing their best to sabotage their own championships and give that little bit of light to Max Verstappen. What on earth happened to McLaren today and yesterday? Well, it says here, and I think this is really significant, for the first time since Las Vegas 2023. So, you know, not shy of 2 years ago, no McLaren managed to finish in the top 6. In that race, one of the two cars also suffered an accident. I think it was Lando Norris, wasn't it? Went straight off. But for the first time, let that sink in, for the first time since Las Vegas 2023, no McLaren managed to finish in the top 6. Absolutely epic. Clowns? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, they're pit lane, their pit stops are certainly was certainly clown featured. Not only this race, but we're going to look at some of the other races in the past where they weren't particularly very good. But let's talk about Oscar Piastri, shall we? And this person sums it up very nicely here on Twitter. First Sports F1. Crash in qualifying, jump start and crash in the race. What kind of voodoo was done on Oscar Piastri? Disappointing night for the McLaren driver. Spoiled all the advantages he gained on Lando Norris. And this is obviously,
looks to the outside. It's just slippery out there.
Yeah, there's Oscar going in again. I mean, look at that. He just like, gets offline. Why did he do it? Part of me thinks it was a bit desperate. He jumped the start, went right to the back pretty much, and it was like, oh my gosh, I need to make up time. And I think he went too far too soon. Unlike, for example, the accident he did in the wet when he spun off in Australia, which is the wet that, you know. This was, I think, down to experience and maybe the pressure getting to him a little bit, at least in the moment, in spite of how much of an Iceman compared to Lando Norris we think he is. And yeah, he just goes wide here. And at that point, I mean, look, it was almost, you know, even before then, let's see. Here we go. And he goes, and at this point here, he becomes a passenger. I mean, you saw that wheel lock up. He's understeering, and he knows, as Martin Brundle says, straight to the scene of the accident goes Oscar Piastri. You'll see him absolutely yeet it into the wall. Everyone's going straight, and it's almost like he's following a different sat-nav route. Poor Oscar. Here is, I mean, there's poor Oscar there. Here is, I think, from a fan perspective, another view of the crash, which is interesting. Oh! Straight in. I mean, you can see him locking up there. It's even better. It's almost. That is really, really. That's so loud. But yeah, you can see him. Yeah, you can see him like here. Yeet it into the wall. Are you ready? As we go there, he comes. He's near the back. There he is. Look, you can see him. He comes in too hot. He just does, doesn't he? There's nothing he can do. And as Martin Brundle says, as I mentioned, straight to the scene of the accident. Now let's talk. We mentioned the pit stops. Let's talk about McLaren's pit stops, shall we? Because they were an absolute sham. What on earth was going on with McLaren in their pit stops? 4.1 seconds. And the reason why this is so bad, it's double what McLaren, at least 2 seconds. You know what McLaren did. That 2 seconds was pivotal between Lando Norris finishing 7th and Lando Norris finishing 5th. Because he came out exactly 2 seconds behind the two drivers in front. So it absolutely scuppered any chance that Lando Norris had of finishing at least in the top 5, doing a bit more damage to Oscar Piastri and gaining McLaren a few more points in the Constructors. Embarrassing, wasn't, you know? I mean, Lando says here, what is it? Lando, what do you make of the slow stops in Monza and now here in Baku? And he said, honestly, twice in 2 races, doesn't feel like bad luck anymore. It's frustrating when it's always my side having the issues, while the other garage seems to run a bit smoother. Yeah, I mean, you say that, but it's the same people doing the pit stops, so they're not doing it on purpose. But it does seem to be the pressure's getting to McLaren, even though they're fighting realistically amongst themselves for both the drivers and the Constructors' Championship. And the reason why I say this, when you look at their ridiculous pit stops, I mean, Silverstone, 4.64 seconds, not good at all. 3.57 seconds for Spa, 4.83 seconds for Zandvoort, 5.87 seconds for Monza, and then 4.1 seconds for Baku. What is going on here, McLaren? It is absolutely not good enough. For the team that does have, let's be fair, I think, was it 23? The world record on pit stop in Qatar, which is still held by McLaren, I believe. What are you doing? I mean, it's like double the time. I remember Williams a few years back being absolutely ridiculously bad on the pit stops, and they purposely then just slowed their pit stops down. So it didn't hit the 2-second mark. It was more like a late 2, like an early 3-second, but they became consistent and they were always good. Just slow it down, and I don't know what is going on here. I mean, I know accidents can happen, but they are looking, in spite of probably being Constructors' Champions at the next race, the worst people at their pit stops. It's not good at all. Look. And also, we've still got to talk about Lando Norris, because not only did he absolutely choke in qualifying, even though he said he didn't, he did everything he could do. Yeah, you did everything you could do, which was not good enough, if that's what you're saying. He froze, my guy hasn't moved for 40 minutes. That's how a lot of people described the restart. So what happened is, at the start, obviously Piastri ended up in the wall. We restarted. And look at this. Look at the gap between these two. And Lando Norris is asleep. And this allowed Charles Leclerc to get by him. And that very thing here ruined his whole race. Because as I mentioned, with McLaren's straight line speed, I believe we'll get into the data in a bit, but not being particularly very good, let's be fair, it completely ruined his race. And any chance that Lando Norris did have of a better result. We know those Ferraris are really fast in this straight line. Charles Leclerc did a good job. It was just a bit embarrassing, wasn't it, for if you're a Lando Norris or one of his fans, it was just not good enough. That race start, and you can't turn around and go, no, the Ferrari was just faster. Lando, you were asleep. I mean, he was absolutely. This is Lando speaking with the media after finishing P7. This is what he has to say.
For you in the end today, I think many of us maybe thought that the faster cars, or the theoretically faster cars, might make up a few more spaces. I mean, how was it for you out there, bearing that in mind?
Yeah, just too difficult to follow and overtake, so...
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It was difficult to overtake and follow. The restart... I'm sorry, but that restart did not help, did it?
Didn't really matter how quick the car was. I think the car was good, but just too difficult to follow and overtake, and couldn't really do anything with strategy, so no, I don't think we could have done anything more today.
Yes, you could have done, Lando, really. I mean, as in, like, you know... Don't be asleep at the restart. McLaren with the slow stops. You've kind of scuppered it in qualifying.
I think 6 points he's made up on your teammate. Obviously, Oscar going out on the first lap, and with the slow stop out there as well.
I mean, he's not looking away. He's not even looking at them. He's not even looking at these. He knows. So why is he trying to spin some politician's House of Commons-esque answer? I just don't get it.
Do you kind of see this as maybe a bit of a missed opportunity, or is it one of those?
You said that yesterday. I'm going to say the same answer. So.
Oh, he's annoyed.
I did everything I can. The opportunities.
No, you didn't.
Today, I maximize every single weekend like I can, you know. So it's not a missed opportunity. Every
yes, it is.
Race is an opportunity, and
true.
Today we just weren't good enough, and
he wasn't good enough. And to be fair, nor McLaren's pit stops.
Made too many mistakes yesterday. So.
Yeah. I like Lando Norris. I want him very much to win that championship and prove all the doubters wrong, because he seems to have more doubters than Oscar Piastri. The problem is, weekends like this absolutely fuel his doubters. Let's not forget, yes, Piastri did make that massive mistake, but then Norris has been making more mistakes this year, which is one of the reasons, not the only reason, because of that engine issue in Canada, one of the reasons why he's behind Piastri. You remember Canada, for example, when he legit had a chance to beat Piastri. Yes, he wasn't going to win the race, but he was going to at least beat him, and he went out of the race, which was not going to help anyone. So, Lando. So, yeah, it says here, the mistake in the pits cost Norris P5, but let's not kid ourselves. Piastri had a terrible weekend, and Norris failed to capitalise firstly in the qualifying, and today at the race too. Terrible weekend for both championship contenders. Couldn't have said it better. Could not have said it better myself. Oscar, and what's interesting, Oscar admitted that he was to blame for his messy weekend in Baku, but said there was a silver lining after crashing out on that first lap. Here we go.